Alright, now let me show you a different way of fixing that issue. Okay, so I've just undid a few steps here. I brought it back to just the original rectangle or box that wasn't rotated, okay, that the material was placed nicely on. Let's go back now and rotate it 45 degrees, okay, so that I can show you again that issue. So you can see that it's not mapped properly. Alright, and I simply use the box mapping tool, okay, to fix that issue. I rotated the map to fix those issues. Okay, here's another way of doing it. Okay, another way of doing it is to use what is known as planar mapping. Okay, so instead of controlling all the different faces of this box at the same time, we're going to be able to just control one face at a time. Okay, because you can remember in the previous example, when I did a box planar and I rotated, it also rotated the material on the top. Nothing you can do about that because it acts as a unison box. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a planar one to fix this. Now, to do a planar one, it needs to be planes. This is a solid object. So to convert this into a plane, and I highly recommend that you only do this for mapping purposes. Okay, we're going to explode this so that it becomes surfaces rather than a solid. Please make sure that the product that you are applying this, or the product that you are exploding, the 3D solid, is complete. You don't want to be able to, you don't want to later on have to cut a hole out of this or anything, because remember, once you explode it, you can't get it back into a solid. Alright, so I'm going to use the explode command, select this object, enter, and you'll now see that there are now surfaces or regions. They're no longer a solid box. Okay, so now I'm going to simply go ahead, and because they're no longer a box, I'm going to apply a planar, okay, mapping. So watch what happens. As soon as I apply a planar mapping to this side, the problem is solved. Okay, and you can see that it's got these arrows. I can independently, okay, change the size or the rotation. Okay, if I did another planar one here, okay, you can see that I can go to rotate and just go ahead and rotate this freely without rotating all the other sides. Okay, I'll undo that. Alright, so again, I'm going to do a planar on this side. There we go, and you can see how, okay, easy it is for me to control, okay, the mapping of just one side of this box, because now I'm not using box mapping, I'm using planar mapping. Alright, so there's my example, there's box mapping, and there is planar mapping. Again, don't forget to explode the solid to create individual faces, and again, remember, once you explode it, there's no way of getting it back into a solid.